cheap-looking brown stones. Collector demand. That combination should not exist. Yet one of these hides a moving star. Another flashes fire under light. One gets ignored in public, then disappears into private collections. The market trained buyers to chase bright colors. That left opportunities sitting in plain sight. Some of these stones look worthless until the right angle, the right cut, or the right eye reveals everything. Starting at number 10, the first gem has been passed over thousands of times for the exact reason. Ranked 10th, Smoky quartz. At first glance, smoky quartz rarely creates excitement. Its brown tone can appear too common, too soft, too familiar. It often sits in gift shops, roadside mineral stores, and low-end jewelry displays beside polished stones sold for impulse purchases. For years, that visibility created a damaging illusion. If something is everywhere, it must not be worth much. But serious collectors understand an important truth. Most smoky quartz on the market is ordinary. The pieces attracting real attention are something entirely different. Elite smoky quartz forms when natural radiation interacts with trace aluminum inside quartz over immense geological time. Under the right conditions, the crystal develops a rich, transparent brown tone that feels less like color and more like depth. Inferior material looks muddy or flat. Exceptional material looks clean, architectural, and almost liquid inside. That difference matters more than most buyers realize. When a specimen combines strong clarity, sharp crystal termination, balanced smoky saturation, and minimal internal fractures, the value can rise dramatically beyond what casual shoppers expect. Large, clean crystals from respected localities become especially desirable, particularly when natural luster remains untouched. Collectors are not chasing brown quartz. They are chasing rarity hidden inside a category most people stopped noticing. This is where markets often misprice gemstones. Public attention focuses on flashy colors: ruby red, emerald green, sapphire blue. Meanwhile, certain smoky quartz specimens quietly disappear into private collections because experienced buyers recognize what average buyers overlook. There is also a psychological advantage to stones like this. Not every collector wants obvious luxury. Many prefer materials that reward knowledge rather than attention. Smoky quartz offers exactly that. It does not announce itself loudly across a room. It rewards the closer look. Under proper light, premium examples show subtle gradients, warm internal shadows, and mirror-like faces that feel refined rather than loud. In an era where many buyers are growing tired of synthetic perfection and mass-market sparkle, natural character has become more valuable. That trend favors stones once dismissed as common. The most surprising part is that many viewers have probably seen smoky quartz dozens of times without ever seeing a truly top-grade example. And that is what makes this stone dangerous to underestimate, because once ordinary material defines public perception, exceptional material can remain underpriced for years. Smoky quartz may look like the gemstone nobody notices, but in the right grade, it becomes exactly the kind of stone collectors notice first. And if number 10 already hides this much value, the stones higher on this list become far harder to ignore. Ranked 9th, tiger's eye. Few gemstones suffer more from overexposure than tiger's eye. For decades, it became the stone many people associated with souvenir trays, flea markets, low-cost bracelets, and impulse buys near cash registers. That constant presence convinced millions that tiger's eye belonged in the category of decorative trinkets rather than serious collecting. That assumption misses the entire story. True collector-grade tiger's eye is not valued for being flashy. It is valued for precision. Tiger's eye begins as fibrous crocodylite that was gradually replaced by silica while preserving its original structure. That replacement creates one of nature's most hypnotic optical effects: chatoyancy. A sharp band of moving light glides across the surface when the stone is cut correctly, creating an effect that feels almost mechanical. Cheap material shows blurred movement, weak contrast, uneven fiber direction, and lifeless color. High-grade material is another world entirely. The finest examples display razor-clean light bands, dense golden brown body color, rich depth, and a smooth visual shift that moves like liquid metal under changing angles. Instead of looking inexpensive, the stone begins to resemble handcrafted design from nature itself. That is why experienced buyers sort tiger's eye aggressively. Most people shop by name. Collectors shop by performance. They examine alignment, chatoyancy, sharpness, saturation, polish quality, and whether the internal structure creates movement strong enough to stop the eye instantly. Exceptional pieces are not common, especially in larger calibrated sizes with strong consistency. There is also a cultural reason demand has remained resilient. Tiger's eye carries a reputation for confidence, grounding, and strength. Whether taken symbolically or not, stones linked to identity and presence often maintain demand longer than trend-driven gems. When that emotional appeal combines with visually strong material, value becomes more durable than many expect. Modern jewelry trends have added another layer. Earth-tone metals, leather, matte finishes, and masculine luxury styling have pushed premium tiger's eye back into relevance. Designers now use top material in ways that feel sophisticated rather than dated. That shift matters, because once a stone escapes its low-end image, the market starts separating average goods from elite goods very quickly. Tiger's eye still appears cheap when seen in bulk bins and tourist shops, but the best examples never stay there long. They move quietly into collections, custom pieces, and hands that know exactly what they are looking at. And if a stone this familiar can be misunderstood so badly, the next entry becomes even easier for the public to miss. Ranked 8th, brown zircon. Sometimes a gemstone loses value for the simplest reason possible. People think it is something else. Brown zircon has spent years trapped inside that problem. Its warm, earthy sparkle is often mistaken for colored glass, synthetic stones, or inexpensive imitations. To the casual eye, it can look like material designed to copy something better. In reality, zircon was here long before many of the stones it gets confused with. Natural zircon is one of Earth's oldest known minerals. Some crystals date back billions of years, carrying geological history older than complex life itself. That age alone gives zircon scientific importance few jewelry buyers ever consider, yet collectors focus on something more immediate. When brown zircon forms with strong transparency and proper cutting, it produces brilliance far beyond what most expect from a stone in this color range. Light does not merely bounce from the surface, it moves through the gem with lively internal return, creating flashes that can feel surprisingly energetic for such a grounded tone. Low-grade pieces appear sleepy, windowed, or overly dark. Fine examples show warm amber-brown fire, crisp facet response, and a richness that feels closer to antique luxury than modern mass-market jewelry. That distinction is why knowledgeable buyers never judge zircon by reputation alone. There is another reason premium material has gained attention: authenticity fatigue. Many consumers have grown tired of stones that look too perfect, too sterile, too manufactured. Brown zircon often carries subtle individuality, tiny personality marks, natural warmth, and optical behavior that feels alive rather than engineered. That matters in a market increasingly rewarding character over uniformity. Collectors also understand supply is not unlimited. Clean, natural zircon in attractive sizes and appealing tones is far less common than public perception suggests. Once strong pieces are selected for custom settings or private holdings, they do not re-enter the market often. Design trends have helped as well. Vintage-inspired jewelry, yellow gold settings, heirloom aesthetics, and earthy palettes pair naturally with brown zircon. In the right mount, the stone stops looking overlooked and starts looking intentional. That shift can change pricing faster than many expect. A gem dismissed for years can rise quickly once enough buyers realize the misunderstanding. Brown zircon remains one of the clearest examples of how the public often prices names while collectors price reality. What seems ordinary at first glance may simply be a stone waiting for better lighting and a better audience. And the next gemstone on this list carries an even stronger secret hidden in plain sight. Ranked 7th, Hessonite garnet. Color can deceive faster than clarity ever will. Placed beside brighter gems, Hessonite garnet is often ignored within seconds. Its cinnamon brown body tone can appear subdued, even muddy, especially under poor showroom lighting where louder stones steal attention first. Many buyers pass it without asking a single question. Collectors tend to slow down instead, because Hessonite is one of those gemstones that rewards patience more than impulse. A member of the Grosler garnet family, Hessonite carries a warm internal glow that photographs poorly but performs beautifully in person. Rather than sharp, icy flashes, it offers something rarer in today's market: depth with character. Honey, burnt amber, spiced orange brown, and old gold tones can blend inside the same stone, creating movement that feels elegant rather than aggressive. Cheap-looking material does exist. Cloudy pieces, weak cutting, lifeless transparency, and dull brown saturation have done real damage to the stone's reputation. When viewers only encounter lower grades, they assume the entire category lacks value. That is where the market mistake begins. Fine Hessonite displays vivid internal life, strong brilliance, and a subtle shimmering texture, sometimes described by experts as heat or liquid motion within the gem. It does not scream for attention. It holds attention. That difference matters to mature buyers. Many collectors eventually move beyond obvious status stones and begin seeking materials with nuance, gemstones that feel discovered rather than advertised. Hessonite often enters collections during that stage. Its appeal also stretches across multiple audiences. Jewelry designers appreciate its compatibility with yellow gold, bronze tones, and vintage settings. Mineral enthusiasts respect its garnet lineage. Cultural markets have long valued Hessonite for symbolism, identity, and traditional use. When one stone draws demand from several directions at once, resilience tends to follow. Supply quality is another hidden factor. Clean, lively Hessonite in attractive sizes is less common than casual buyers assume. Stones with strong color balance and enough transparency to reveal their signature glow are selected quickly, especially when cut well. There is also a psychological advantage to owning gems others underestimate. A bright ruby announces itself instantly. Hessonite often waits until the second look. That second look is where many serious purchases happen. In an age saturated with obvious sparkle and predictable luxury, understated warmth can feel more expensive than brightness. Hessonite garnet proves that some gemstones lose value in public perception simply because they are viewed too quickly. Those who pause longer tend to see something entirely different, and the next stone on this countdown hides its value in a far more technical way than color alone ever could. Ranked 6th, Dravite tourmaline. Some gemstones gain respect only after people learn how difficult they are to create. Dravite tourmaline rarely wins instant attention. Its tones can range from deep brown to earthy honey, sometimes so restrained that casual buyers dismiss it as dark, ordinary, or lacking excitement. In display cases crowded with brighter gems, it is often one of the last stones examined. That reaction says more about human habits than gemstone quality. Dravite belongs to the tourmaline family, one of the most chemically complex mineral groups in gemology. While vivid pinks, blues, and greens often dominate public discussion, brown Dravite represents a different side of the same family, one shaped by magnesium-rich environments and iron-bearing conditions that create grounded, natural tones collectors increasingly appreciate. It is not a stone built for instant applause. It is a stone built for credibility. Lower-grade Dravite can appear overly dark, fractured, or sleepy under weak lighting. Those examples reinforce the false idea that all brown tourmaline is low-tier material. Fine stones tell a very different story. Well-cut Dravite can show rich whiskey hues, warm bronze flashes, golden brown zoning, and a polished luster that feels substantial rather than flashy. Some crystals display remarkable transparency, while others carry subtle internal complexity that reminds experienced buyers they are looking at something natural, not manufactured perfection. That distinction has become more valuable. As more collectors move away from loud color trends, demand has grown for stones with maturity, texture, and geological authenticity. Dravite fits that shift perfectly. It feels connected to earth rather than fashion. Designers have noticed as well. Brown and champagne palettes pair naturally with rose gold, brushed metals, leather accents, and modern masculine jewelry styles. In those settings, Dravite stops looking overlooked and starts looking intentional, sometimes luxurious in a quieter way than brighter stones can achieve. There is also a scarcity factor hidden beneath public awareness. The market does not flood with top-grade Dravite. Clean material in attractive size, balanced tone, and strong cutting is selective. Because mainstream buyers rarely ask for it by name, exceptional stones are often acquired by specialists before broader audiences even realize they exist. That creates a familiar pattern in gemstones. Public indifference can temporarily hide private demand. Collectors understand that not every valuable stone announces itself through color alone. Some earn value through rarity, complexity, and taste that develops over time. Dravite tourmaline is one of those stones. It may look modest to the untrained eye, yet it carries the kind of substance many flashy gems cannot imitate. And the next entry reveals what happens when an ordinary brown surface suddenly erupts with something almost no viewer expects. Ranked 5th, Sphalerite. Nothing damages a gemstone's reputation faster than a dull first impression. Sphalerite suffers from exactly that problem. In rough form, it can resemble an unremarkable brown mineral, sometimes closer to industrial ore than jewelry material. Even polished stones may appear dark or understated when viewed casually, causing many buyers to overlook it within seconds. That quick judgment collapses the moment light enters the stone. Because Sphalerite is capable of one of the most dramatic optical performances in the gem world. Fine material can produce extraordinary dispersion, the splitting of white light into flashes of spectral color. Reds, greens, oranges, yellows, and electric sparks can burst across the facets with an intensity that surprises even experienced gem buyers. Viewers expecting a sleepy brownstone suddenly encounter something closer to controlled fireworks. That contrast is exactly why collectors pay attention. Most consumers shop by surface color. Specialists know brilliance and dispersion can matter just as much, sometimes more. A gemstone that appears quiet until activated by light often creates stronger fascination than one that reveals everything instantly. Not all Sphalerite qualifies. Many pieces are too included, too fragile, too dark, or poorly cut to show the effect properly. Lower-grade examples helped create the misconception that Sphalerite is merely a curiosity. Top stones are much harder to find. Collector-grade Sphalerite demands a careful combination of transparency, attractive body tone, precision faceting, and enough structural integrity to survive cutting. When those elements align, the result can be unforgettable. There is also a rarity advantage tied to practicality. Because Sphalerite is softer and more delicate than mainstream jewelry stones, much of the best material ends up in collections rather than everyday rings or bracelets. That channels demand toward connoisseurs, buyers who value spectacle, scarcity, and gemological significance over mass-market wearability. In other words, the average shopper often passes while the informed buyer steps closer. Modern collectors increasingly appreciate stones with personality rather than predictable perfection. Sphalerite delivers exactly that. It can feel temperamental, brilliant, uncommon, and visually alive in a way highly commercial gems sometimes do not. Its earthy exterior may have hidden this truth for years, Brown tones led many to underestimate the category before ever seeing what premium examples can actually do. Once shown under proper lighting, opinions tend to change quickly. Some gemstones impress from across a room. Sphalerite waits for the right angle, then overwhelms the room. That makes it one of the clearest examples of why appearance alone can be a terrible pricing tool. And the next stone proves value can rise even when brilliance is not the main attraction at all. Ranked fourth, Andalusite. Rotation changes everything. Set an Andalusite on a table, and many viewers see nothing remarkable at first. The color may appear brownish, muted, even forgettable beside brighter gems engineered to demand attention. It lacks the immediate visual punch that drives impulse buying, which is exactly why it has been underestimated for so long. Lift it, turn it, watch again. Andalusite is famous for strong pleochroism, the ability to display different colors from different viewing directions. Depending on orientation, a fine stone can shift through earthy brown, olive, golden honey, reddish tones, and flashes of greenish warmth. What seemed plain seconds earlier begins behaving like several gemstones sharing the same body. That transformation is where collectors become interested. Most commercial jewelry relies on instant impact. Andalusite rewards interaction. It asks the viewer to engage, to move, to observe. Stones that reveal themselves gradually often create deeper attachment than stones that expose everything immediately. Poor material exists, and it has harmed perception. Weakly cut examples can look muddy, dark, or confused, with color zones that never resolve into anything attractive. Casual buyers who encounter only those pieces assume the gem lacks potential. High-grade Andalusite tells another story. When properly oriented by a skilled cutter, the color shifts become deliberate and elegant. Facets can alternate warm and cool zones in the same glance, creating complexity impossible to fake with simple surface sparkle. The finest examples feel intelligent rather than loud. That quality appeals strongly to mature collectors. Many experienced buyers eventually move beyond obvious prestige gems and begin valuing rarity, optical phenomena, and stones that start conversations. Andalusite performs well in all three categories. It is uncommon enough to feel discovered, technical enough to feel meaningful, and attractive enough to wear. Design trends have helped as well. Earth tone palettes, brushed gold settings, vintage-inspired jewelry, and understated luxury aesthetics pair naturally with Andalusite. In modern settings, the gem can look sophisticated in a way bright commercial stones sometimes cannot. Supply remains selective. Clean stones with strong pleochroism, attractive face-up appearance, and usable sizes are not flooding mainstream counters. Because demand is niche rather than noisy, many strong examples are absorbed quietly by buyers who know what to look for. That is often how undervalued gemstones begin to rise. Not through hype, but through recognition. Andalusite may seem like a brown stone with no urgency attached to it. Then one small turn reveals why stillness was never the full story. And the next entry reaches the top three with a phenomenon so striking, many viewers assume it cannot be natural at all. Ranked third, star diopside. A black-brown cabochon sitting motionless in a tray rarely attracts a crowd. Without light, star diopside can seem plain, dark, and easy to dismiss, more like a polished pebble than a gemstone competing for attention. In stores filled with glittering faceted stones, many eyes move past it almost immediately. Then a beam of light touches the surface. Suddenly, a sharp four-rayed star appears and glides across the stone as it moves. What looked lifeless moments earlier now behaves like an object with its own internal mechanics. That instant transformation is why informed collectors never judge star diopside too quickly. The effect is caused by aligned, needle-like inclusions, often linked to iron-rich structures inside the gem. When cut properly into a smooth cabochon dome, those internal features interact with light to create asterism, a star pattern that seems to float above the surface. Nature hides some of its best work in the least dramatic packages. Cheap examples exist in abundance. Weak stars, dull polish, poor symmetry, shallow domes, or overly opaque bodies can make the stone look forgettable. Many buyers encounter only those lower grades and assume the species offers little beyond novelty. Fine material changes that perception immediately. Collector-grade star diopside shows a crisp, centered star, smooth movement under light, attractive body tone, and enough polish to create clean contrast between dark background and bright rays. The best stones feel almost cinematic, especially when the star tracks sharply from edge to edge. That visual behavior creates emotional value. A diamond sparkles beautifully, but it behaves predictably. Star diopside introduces movement, mystery, and interaction. Viewers instinctively tilt it, rotate it, test the light, and watch again. Stones that invite participation often become more memorable than stones that simply shine. There is also an affordability paradox. Because star diopside still carries a modest public profile, stronger pieces can remain undervalued compared with more famous phenomenon gems. Collectors who appreciate optical rarity often notice that imbalance early. Modern taste has helped as well. Black metals, masculine jewelry, earth tone styling, and understated statement pieces pair naturally with star diopside. In the right setting, it feels powerful rather than flashy. Some gemstones impress by brilliance. Others create wonder. Star diopside belongs firmly in the second category, and that category tends to age well with serious buyers. What appears at first to be a dark, ordinary stone can become unforgettable once illuminated correctly. And if number 3 can hide a moving star, the final 2 entries rise into territory even seasoned collectors treat with special respect. Ranked second, Enstatite. Recognition drives prices more often than rarity does. That single truth explains why Enstatite remains overlooked by much of the public. Mention ruby, sapphire, or emerald, and almost anyone forms an immediate opinion. Mention Enstatite, and many buyers have never heard the name at all. In gemstones, unfamiliarity can suppress value for years. Visually, Enstatite often appears restrained, bronze brown, olive brown, honeyed earth tones, sometimes so subtle that it seems modest beside louder stones designed for instant showroom impact. To an untrained eye, it can look like a gem with nothing urgent to say. Collectors know better. Enstatite belongs to a mineral group tied to deep geological significance. It is associated with high-temperature environments and has been identified in meteorites as well as terrestrial formations, giving it a scientific pedigree few commercial gems can match. That background alone creates fascination for buyers who appreciate stones connected to planetary history rather than simple fashion. Then there's the gem itself. Fine Enstatite can display excellent transparency, elegant luster, and warm metallic undertones that shift beautifully under directional light. Some stones show a silky bronze glow that feels refined, almost architectural. Instead of shouting color, Enstatite communicates through tone, balance, and depth. That subtlety is precisely why many mature collectors respond to it. New buyers often chase names, experienced buyers often chase character. Lower-grade material has obscured the category for years. Included stones, sleepy cutting, weak polish, or muddy body color can make Enstatite seem forgettable. Those examples create a false market narrative that the species lacks excitement. High-grade stones tell a very different story. Well-cut Enstatite with clean transparency and balanced saturation carries a quiet authority difficult to imitate. It looks natural, serious, and increasingly relevant in a market where many buyers are growing tired of overproduced sparkle and predictable luxury signals. Supply does not help mainstream visibility either. Fine Enstatite is not pushed aggressively through major jewelry channels, so public awareness stays low while specialist interest remains selective. That dynamic often benefits collectors. When recognition lags behind merit, pricing can remain favorable longer than expected. Design trends have also begun to favor it. Earth tone palettes, brushed gold, titanium, masculine rings, and bespoke settings all complement Enstatite's understated sophistication. In the right design, it feels expensive without trying to look expensive. Some gemstones are overpriced because everyone knows them. Others remain undervalued because almost no one does. Enstatite has spent years in the second category, and when a stone this credible still sits outside the spotlight, it becomes a reminder that the market does not always reward quality immediately. Only one gemstone remains above it, and that final entry hides value so effectively many people never realize they passed it before. In first place, Axinite. Neglect can be one of the strongest signals in the gemstone market. When a stone remains unnoticed despite real rarity, unusual crystal character, and growing collector respect, something important is often being missed. Axinite fits that description almost perfectly. At first encounter, it does not look like a winner. Its color commonly falls into brown, violet brown, cinnamon, or smoky earth tones that many casual buyers dismiss too quickly. The crystal habit can appear sharp, angular, even slightly broken to those unfamiliar with natural mineral forms. In polished form, it still lacks the loud prestige branding attached to famous gemstones. That combination has kept Axinite hidden in plain sight. Collectors see an entirely different profile. Axinite is valued for its distinctive wedge-shaped crystals, uncommon presence in the jewelry market, and colors that often carry subtle complexity rather than flat uniformity. Fine examples can show shifting bronze, plum brown, honeyed smoke, or warm chestnut tones depending on lighting and orientation. Instead of obvious glamour, the stone offers intelligence, rarity, and personality. Those qualities tend to appreciate with experienced buyers. The modern market increasingly divides into two groups: buyers seeking recognition and buyers seeking discovery. Axinite strongly attracts the second group. It feels like something learned rather than advertised. That emotional difference matters. Ownership of a common luxury stone can signal budget. Ownership of an obscure quality stone can signal knowledge. Mature collectors often value the second message more. Lower-grade Axinite certainly exists. Dark stones with poor cutting, weak transparency, or lifeless surfaces can make the category seem unremarkable. Those examples have helped preserve the public misconception that Axinite belongs near the bottom tier of brown gems. Top material reverses that instantly. Well-cut Axinite can display sharp brilliance, attractive internal life, and tonal richness difficult to capture in photographs. The best stones often look better in motion than in still images, a trait that frequently benefits undervalued gems because markets tend to price what photographs well before they price what performs well in person. Availability remains another factor. Axinite is not a stone found in every jewelry chain or mainstream display case. Fine pieces often circulate through specialist dealers, collectors, and niche markets rather than broad commercial channels. Limited visibility can suppress public awareness while quietly strengthening scarcity. That pattern has repeated many times in gemstone history. A stone ignored by the crowd can become highly respected once enough informed buyers compete for the best examples. Axinite may look like a brown gem with no obvious status attached to it. Yet beneath that modest first impression sits the exact combination serious collectors hunt most often: rarity, individuality, and the feeling of discovering value before everyone else. And that is why this list ends here. Bright color gets attention. Knowledge gets value. These brown gemstones proved that some of the most overlooked stones in the market can carry rarity, optical phenomena, and collector demand hiding behind an ordinary first impression. The public often buys what looks expensive. Collectors often buy what others misunderstand. That gap is where some of the most interesting gemstones still live. Which stone on this list was the biggest surprise? Drop it in the comments. And if hidden value, rare geology, and overlooked collector stones are the kind of discoveries worth knowing before everyone else does, subscribe and stay close. The next list gets even harder to ignore.